Hello, everyone. I don't know where the camera is on here, so I feel like I'm not looking at the right spot, so sorry about that. Day one on my recording, so you can actually see me. Welcome to homeschool today. We know fifth grade is magical, so we're going to review our vocabulary. Before we went on break, we were doing some words that started with micro and mega and super and hyper. Do you remember all those words? So we started out with words like microwave, and remember we had a prefix on there. Micro is the prefix. Same thing with megaphone. Mega was our prefix. We also had supermarket. So you can guess, of course, that the prefix was again super, and then hyperactive. So hyper being the prefix. All right. Now, what we're going to do, though, is we're going to move on today, and we're going to move on to talking about some new words. And all of these words today are going to have Greek roots. Remember, before we had break, I was talking about that most words that we have are derived or came from Greek or Latin roots, and today's words that we're going to talk about all have Greek roots. It would be a great idea for you to get out your writing or language arts or whichever notebook or journal that you would like to write in. Get out a journal and write this stuff down too. Remember, I also have said the more that you can write things down, the more that's going to go into your brain. So as you write it, your brain you're saying it to yourself, and it's going to sink in even more. So we have 4 roots that we're going to work on today, and I'm going to write them down, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about what they mean. All right. So the first root is tele, T-E-L-E. The next one is phone. And remember that PH come together. You probably remember this from first grade. PH, whenever they're together, do you remember what sound they make? I'm waiting for you all to answer. I figure you'll fill it in. All right. Yeah, that's right. The F sound. They all say F. PH together always will say F. So phone, we have that one on here, and look, here it is in this one as well. So do you know what that word is? Photo, right. And the last Greek root that we're going to work on this week is this one. Graph. So all of these roots mean something. So let me come up with our first word that it says here. The first word that they show as an example is television. So tele actually means distant. So we have, we're seeing something in vision from a distance. So when you're watching a television, think about it. Usually a television or a TV is not right up next to your face. You're seeing it in the distance. So tele means in the distance. And I'll write that here. Let's see if it goes on my board. Okay. So vision of distance. I'm sure that is off my board. I'll block it in a moment. But tele means vision. Tele means distance. All right, that's what you're going to need to know. All right, the next one that we have on there is phone, P-H-O-N-E, or O-N, and that, maybe if I write it this way instead, that actually means sound. So if I come up with a word like this one, there's our prefix. Phonics. Phonics means relating to sound. So phonics, we talk about phonics when we think about how words sound, right? So that's what that has to go with. All right, the word photo, I always think of it with the word graph, photograph, so meaning a picture. But photo actually means light. So the PHOTO means light. And the word that they use on this is like the word photosynthesis. Shall I write that word out? It's pretty long. Okay, it's going to be one of your spelling words anyway. I'll write it. Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. And if you think about that, it to synthesize means to make, and when we think about that word, we think that plants actually use photosynthesis, or they take the light into their leaves, and then they're able to make energy or food for themselves. So photosynthesis, using the light to make energy. So that's where that comes from. So photo actually means light, which brings up graph, because again, I said if I think photograph, right, I usually think of that as the word meaning picture. All right, but what graph actually stands for is graph has to do, it means word, and I just want to make sure that I'm giving you the right information. So I have all my notes electronically, which is very hard for me to manage because I'm so used to writing things down on paper. And now I can't get to the page where I need to go back. Photo means, here we go, sorry. Again, I just want to make sure you're hearing exactly the right thing. All right, graph. When I use the word graph, go away. This is very challenging today. Nope, I saw it here someplace. It does mean word though. So like a telegraph is, would mean to be a distant word, right? If we're thinking about that, this means the word word. So if you think about the word like graphite, graphite is what's in pencils, and it's what we use to write words. So graph actually means word. So graphite. So again, if I combine these two, telegraph, it's going to be word from a distance. And remember that people would use telegraphs to send messages to one another. That's how things first started. Now words change over time. So we have to really put ourselves in that frame of mind to think from long ago, and what did that really mean? So today, these are your vocabulary roots that I want you to work on. All right? Thank you.